Hi and welcome to this month's Arts and Wellness Cafe. So, we normally do it weekly, but we've had a change around. But before I get into this, welcome, thank you for joining me. And in this month's video, what we're going to be doing is showing you an art journal page, process page. We're going to do a book review, going to look at some fabric work that I've been doing, I'm going to ask a question of the day and a tip of the day for you to also think about doing. All these things are things that you can apply into your creative day-to-day, and throughout the month of November we are going to be, well, whatever month you drop on this, there will be interesting things for you to then look at throughout the month. Okay, so should we get started? Yes, why don't we? What's your tipple today? Mine's some water. I found we bought these months ago and I'd put them away in a cupboard. I only just found them and I was thinking, gosh, they're such a cute size. It's still not enough. It's only 8 fluid ounces, 236 mils. But so thank you for joining me. So one of the reasons for changing it to monthly was time, not only for myself but for you. And I realized that, you know, you put out content and sometimes people don't have enough time to even look at it, and you know, they're looking at, you know, the first few minutes and they say to themselves, yeah, I'm going to go back to that, but they never do because something else comes along. And this also seems the season for art courses, and there's a whole load of art courses happening. I'm teaching on quite a few this year, and well, I've taught on a few this year, and there's still a few more to go, and then next year there's a whole load of courses to come, but I will tell you about them towards the end of the program. Okay, yeah, so you know, people seem to be bombarded and we're coming towards Christmas, and it's just like, it's actually quite a nice thing if you've then got a period of time off that you can just spend, you know, going through the classes and improving on the things that you're learning, and I think it's important that you carve out time generally. So if you're working through the week, you know, maybe a couple of days in the week, you take what you would normally do for your lunch break. You know, maybe listen to a podcast, listen to a course, listen to the course first, see what they do, and then when you get home, or if you're working from home, you can then allot the time to go through the course. But if not during the week, then at the weekends. But you've got to be carving out some creative time for yourself. It is important for your health and well-being. So that's like, you know, I'm going to be doing some giving out some prescriptions for you know, doing something creative, because we can sometimes put that at the back. That's the last thing that we focus on, that and we don't realize the impact that it will make to our lives, to our health and well-being, to our general mood, to our dealing with other things. So I decided to, bring the Arts and Wellness Cafe into the monthly realm, and there's things that I really want to do as part of the Arts and Wellness, and I can't do it on a weekly basis. It's just too much. And again, it's a lot of content for you to take in, to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to sit and watch this whole thing. That's why it's good now that they do the chapters on the videos, that you can say, okay, well, here are the, well, you know what chapters are anyway. If you don't, it splits up your video into the main, you know, topics, so that I can just go to, you know, 3 minutes and 40 seconds because that's the bit that I want. But it also helps you then to, you've watched the word for today, which is coming, and then you can say, oh, I want to watch the video now, and tomorrow I'll do the book review. So the word for today is enthusiastic. And have you gathered that by my demeanour? Am I enthusiastic enough about what I'm doing? And I guess it's for me to say, really, I feel enthusiastic about the work I'm doing. I love it. I love creating. I love sharing. I love showing you how you can do certain things creatively. And I love teaching. So hence, that's why I've been, I've been asked to do several courses, and it's just like, yeah, once I was a student on it, so why wouldn't I want to be able to teach? I've come so far on my journey and learning new things. So it's really nice to be able to give back and say, okay, well, this is how you do this. This is how I did this. So I hope that you enjoy the slightly altered format. And one of the things that I wanted to bring out on a monthly basis, so I will test it out to see how we get on, me, myself and I, get on, is you've got the videos, but having a visual thing that you can look at, which contains the images of what I've shared, and in a written format, so that will then help those people who may not be able to hear all the words that I'm saying, who may be deaf, or there's a whole group of people who are creative who may not be able to access a video if you haven't put subtitles on or transcribed it. So I want to take that into consideration, but also have this monthly thing, this juicy, it feels juicy because a lot of the things that I share, that I have been sharing, like doing the art journal, like the art journal pages, like what you're learning, a book, an interesting book, and resources that I use on a day-to-day. They're all the things that we're going to be sharing. As I said, me, myself, and I. But enthusiastic, how are you? How are you feeling about the work that you do? I've started listening again to audiobooks. I've got a Kindle, but I haven't used it in a couple of years. And I know my last one, they updated the operating system, and then I just wasn't able to use it. So I've got I know where the other one is, my new one, and well, it was new when I brought it, but we're going back, like I've had it for at least 5 years, so I don't know what they brought out now, but I have been using it. I loved my Kindle when it first came out. It was just, for me, it was revolutionary, because I could walk around with like 900 books, and whenever I wanted, dip in and dip out. So that was useful. When I used the diary function, I went online. I think that was it. Yeah, I checked my emails. So I found it really useful. So I was listening to this book, and what was I gonna? Oh my gosh! Because I'd gone onto the Kindle. It's just like I've forgotten the reason why I was telling you about this book I was listening to, but it was talking. Yeah, here it is. So it was talking about who are the 5 people you hang around with, and you will adopt their traits. So if they're really negative, then you're gonna start being really negative. So you need to surround yourself with encouraging people. And when you think about being enthusiastic, it's just like, are you around people that love what they're doing, or do they moan about the work that they're doing? And there's one thing with moaning, like you can't just moan and not do anything about it. There are things that you can do. If you feel that you're in a job that, well, there isn't another job that you can get at the moment, so you have to be in that one. Look at the positive aspects of the work. Look at the things that you're then able to do because of the work. There are some people who have to have more than one job, 2, 3 jobs. You hear it in the States, they've got 2, 3 jobs and they're still below the poverty line. So I don't know what to suggest if that's the case, but we'll think about, well, what can I do to edify myself? What can I do in terms of education? What can I do to put more knowledge in my mind? And what else can I learn to then put myself in a better position? What can I see out of all the things that I'm doing that's a blessing? What can I see as a nugget that, well, at least I get to do this? Or, what kind of feeling, when you leave a particular job, what kind of feeling is it that you want to impart on, if you're working for somebody else? You want to do a good job, you're, helping them, you hope that they're not, one of these horrible bosses, but that you're helping them build their business, and in turn they're going to reward you because you're making their life easier, and so you may get a raise. Think about ways in which you can be more efficient in what you do, or as a result of when you go home, what things can you put in place that will make that much more easier? Like prepare a meal the night before, or cook 3 meals, so for the next 3 days you don't have to worry about cooking. So think about ways in which you can make that what you're doing that little bit much easier, and think about how you can get excited about the things that you're doing, or the things that you're doing that will lead to something else. So you may not be excited about the job, but the job enables you to buy art supplies. I did that for many years. It was just like, I was just so thankful that I was able to buy whatever I wanted because of the job that I had, and that then enabled me to amass. I mean, you see some of these artists' studios, and I haven't amassed like masses of stuff, and I've actually got some things that I want to actually get through and use up. It's like paints, how many years can you have your paints? There are so many more new brands on the market that I'd love to try, but I'm not throwing out the ones that I've got just because. But the work that I did back then enabled me to buy the supplies that I've got now. So it is about thinking differently, trying to put a different perspective on the way that you approach what you do, that you approach your work, the fact that you are then able to get back and do something creative, which is going to be a blessing for you. Yeah? So that's the word, enthusiastic. So, oops, I didn't even see it move. See, I was moving a journal. It's one of the journals we're covering today. And actually, as I say that, it's that we're going to cover it now. So think about that word, enthusiastic. Think about how you can be more enthusiastic about all the things that you do. If you go through your day, think about, if I had a change of perspective, if I approached it looking at the benefits that I get from it, even if it's a small thing, how would that make my day go? How would that feel? Think about the things that you could be grateful for. How does that make me feel? I am grateful that I can have the art supplies that I'm trying to use up so that I can get some more. And I made that decision that I wasn't buying anything else until, because I'm doing using so many different mediums, it's just like you buy these mediums and then they dry up. You buy these art supplies and they end up at the back of a drawer, and you don't get to see it until you've had a clear around. So, clear up. Anyway, so let's have a look at this journal, and what we're going to be doing is this page, and the sentiment is there that says, "I know why the caged bird sings," and it's from the book written by. The title is from the book written by Maya Angelou. Okay, so how was that? Yeah, so it's a nice, it was a nice journal page. I liked creating it, and I like preparing the pages and going back. It saves, for me, it saves time, and it's also, you know, it also helps you decide, you know, you may just have a short amount of time, and it enables you to then dip in and, you know, start a page and then come back. So what we're going to be doing now is having a look at some stitched work and some fabric. I've been sorting out my studio, and you'll see just behind me some changes, so I'll tell you about that. And I was going to say, oh, it's a real treat for you, but it's you don't normally see around my studio. It's not a studio tour, but I'll just give you a little kind of outline of how I store some of my fabric. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so I'm just, as I look at this is still a work in progress. I just literally today, this morning, brought down the top half of this shelving. It's upstairs, and there's the bottom part of the shelving that I need to bring down, and I'm going to place it under here. So let's have a look at my first fabric storage were these two bins, and I had originally been keeping the fabric on my shelf, and then it was just like, okay, so you're moving into your studio, so you can put them in here and it will keep them, and I've got lots of wool and things like that at the bottom, but all my fabric, a lot of my fabric is in here. But as I've grown into fabric, I've then amassed even more. So what I do is I keep the bigger pieces of fabric there and the smaller ones and the smaller pieces here, and I'll just kind of tell you briefly what we have here. It's going to get my seat. Let me take a seat. Okay, so the bottom ones are the first smaller storage containers that I brought, and I had, lots of I was using a lot of African fabrics and other fabrics, and it was just like to go into those big storage containers, it was just like getting a bit much, and so I thought, let me buy these, and then I went on and brought the smaller ones. So these have got things like the spindles. I spin cotton, so we've got spindles there. As I say, I'm not gonna. Do you want to see? I don't want to do that right now because I don't want to make this video too long. But I'll just generally show you. So sculptural looms, yeah, we can have a look in some of them. So these are mini looms that I've made that I haven't yet finished. There's just bits that have to go on. Look at this frame that fell down. Oh. Yeah, see, I was just trying to still trying to sort things out. So these have got mini looms that I need to finish, and just add the finishing touches on there, and then they're ready to go out. But I had an issue when I was I sold a piece of work that had a wooden stand, and the wooden stand got cut. I don't know whether, anyway, yeah, the wooden stand got cut, so I'm not sure about sending wood through the post. Anyway, so in the smaller containers we have things like, I've got Indian fabric, small scraps, I've got project ideas 1 and 2, things that have been machine stitched, things that are waiting to be machine stitched. I've got fabric that's waiting to be dyed, so all my white fabric goes in there, and then what have we got here? Painted fabric for stitching. So for stitch pieces, so when I've got, say, like these pieces, I might put, say, painted fabric behind it, or mount it on there, or use some bits from there. I've got leather here and leather thongs. I do a lot of I've got some burnt leather that I've worked on in here. So we've got brown leather. And yeah, the leather is, I like working on leather. I use my wood burning tool on there, and I've got kind of like, some large pieces as well as smaller pieces, and what I do is designs on them. And I've not really shared these because I'm still kind of working out what how I'm going to use them. So I just practice, and I love the smell of the leather. I love it. So lovely. So things that, as I said, machine stitched. So in here, things that have been dyed and are waiting for their next stage. I did a lot of fabric dyes, vintage fabric, felt, tags and embellishments. So that's really the containers. And then on this shelf I've got I've got my books. I've put the books there. I'm not sure whether they're going to stay there. As I say, I'm rearranging the studio and I want it to work better. I've got all my beads and jewellery here. So these are what I use in terms of embellishing the fabric pieces. We've got ribbons up here and fabric that I've worked on that again needs to be finished, and even over here. So these are pieces that I dyed, and this has been clay dyed, and so again this needs to be moved now. It's been sitting there for a while. But so that's the fabric, and I'll just plonk it up there. So yeah, I've still got to tidy this up, and I've still got I've got some paper stuffs. I've got scrapbooking paper and handmade paper. They're still upstairs that need to go down. And as I say, I want to move these out and or down somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it, and because what's left upstairs is about this height. Yeah, so it's that height. So I want it to fit under there, and I want to keep this. But again, I just need to really go through. A lot of stuff needs to go through, and I felt like, yeah, I had the energy to make a start of it. So I was glad I was able to do that. So that's the fabric, and I want to show you something that I've learned from the fabric as well. It's a piece that I've done, so let's have a look at it. Okay, so here is a piece that I created, and just getting the other bits from it. So we've got these nice beads there. I'm not sure what they're... Anyway, I was going to say bone, but I don't know. Anyway, so I'd used wire at the bottom. Let's just come in a little bit. Oops. It's too far. So you can see there's a lot of detail, a lot of stitching, and I loved creating it, and I loved adding the beads. But what I didn't realise, I'd used wire to attach these beads at the bottom, but over time what the wire will do is rust. Depending on where you are, the wire will rust, so I have to find a different method for adhering. And then I thought, I'm not even sure I want to put the beads back on. I might just, like this one at the top, put another matching one at the bottom, and then I might leave it at that. But it's got a lot of elements to it. And the wood, which I talked about, so this one, this was a dowel that I brought, so I might have to reconsider the use of the dowel and the use of wire, because again, depending on where you are, when you're using wire in pieces of your art, it might rust, and we've got a little bit of rust on here, and I'm not sure it's even going to be something that can come off. No, so it's not going to come off. So what I'm going to have to do with this piece is look at the methods by which I hang it. What you can do is and what I'll probably do is insert a space in the back, so that when you buy it you can put your own dowel in there, and I'll have, say, the leather piece that you can use to hang it, but you only know these things when you give your pieces time to sit and reflect on them. So sitting with this, I'm going to change the system by which it's hung and the wire, and I'm going to, you know, as I say, when I'm creating pieces and I'm using wire, I have to make sure either it's coated or, you know, or you use a different method to attach the piece. Look at the sunshine now coming through. So that's the stitched piece, and I hope that seeing some of the way in which my the fabric is stored might have given you some ideas. But I'm hello again. So that was the fabric. So what I was thinking about the fabric, just as I'd said to you about I'm just going to do something at the bottom, was that I might actually put in the hanging system with the beads, because I actually, well, it kind of gives it a little bit more height, but I think it also sets it off. And when I was creating it, that's what I felt needed doing. So just because the wires have come off, you know, you just find something else that will, whether it's coated wire or whether I use thread, we'll see how we can get on with that. So now it's time for tip for the week. Tip for the week. Tip for the week. Well, it's tip for the month, I think, yeah, but I like the sound of tip for the week. I don't know. Tip for the week. Yay, tip for the week. So, encourage an artist. That's the tip for the week. You know, think about how you've been encouraged and think about how you can encourage others. I'm just looking for my water because my throat feels like it's been chatting for over an hour. Anyway, so it may be that you go onto their profile, you go and see something that they've shared and encourage them. It's often nice to be able to hear some encouraging words, because as artists it can sometimes feel quite isolating because you're in your studio, in your space, you know, trying to create things and share them and all of that. So think about how you can encourage another artist. Think about, you know, maybe creating some small pieces of art, like even artist trading cards, put it in an envelope and give it away to people, encourage people, bless them, put a nice scripture, put a nice quote on the back, and you'll brighten somebody's day. So as artists, we can, you know, that feeling of feeling isolated, sometimes you can, you know, if you're not, depend on where you live, you know, if galleries, well, I think most places are open now, but for some people, they may not be able to have access to those places. And so see what you can do in your local community. Drop it through somebody's letterbox or in their post box. Leave them a nice little card, just saying, you know, encouraging them and putting a nice piece of art. That's another way of getting your art around, you know, people seeing it. Because I've had neighbours who, they're just like, I never knew you was an artist. Really? I've lived here for how many years? And, you know, you often go into exhibitions, but sometimes they just don't see. So, you know, it could be that you just say, you know, here's a card that I made. You know, if you want to see other pieces of my work, you can go to my website. So it's a way to promote yourself as well as encourage other people. So now we're going to look at the book review, Creative Awakenings. In the light of all the courses that we can take, it's good to have some books on your shelf that you can have access to at any time of the day. And if your internet is down, you still got the book that you can work with. or unless you've downloaded it to your computer. But if you have a blackout, if all the electricity goes off, then you've still got your book. You can read it by candlelight. Okay, so let's have a look at Creative Awakenings. This is Creative Awakenings by Sherry Gaynor. What if you could unlatch the doors to your heart and allow yourself to explore hopes and dreams that you haven't visited for a very long time? Creative Awakenings is the key to opening those doors, showing you how to use art making to set your intentions. Creativity coach Sherry Gaynor will guide you through the mileposts of this exciting journey. Okay, so Creative Awakenings, envisioning a life of your dreams through art, which is such a lovely way to look at things. So in the contents here, we have it's set out in a different way actually. It's got several chapters, and in between each chapter are mile markers. So in the first chapter, she talks about how it all came about and connecting with other artists, and how she contacted with them and building your dream journal. She's also got examples of supplies that you can use and setting yourself up for the journey. So the envision process is a specific process that she walks you through step by step, and you sign a contract as well with yourself to encourage you to commit to the adventure. It's a Visa Awakenings application, and then you create your dream book, and this will be the book that you will work through. So it says 12 months of dreams, the art of intention, and there is 12 artists which she's given a month to do a written piece and to talk about how the process actually, how they felt it impacted on them. And each mile marker there is a art piece for you to do, a creative mixed media piece. So as I say, 12 artists, and then Sherry does a blog entry as well. So it's a nice piece. It's a nice book filled with the perspectives from different artists, and you go through a range of different techniques that you can work on. And it's one of those books, I guess, that you decide to do it over a period of time. At the back, she then has a deck of cards, and she gives you the instructions of how to play it, what each of them mean. So each of them have got a meaning. At the back there is the set of 12 cards that corresponds with that you can cut out, and then she gives you questions and reflections to work on with each card. So you could say pick a card and then look at, it says the deck decoder, you look at the deck and then you do the particular tasks that are on that deck. So it's a nice interactive book, and it's one that's going to take you a while to do. It's not that you can get through it all in, say, a weekend. It's something that I would give yourself, a few months to go through each of the activities, to read the journal pages, to reflect and to work on it at your own pace. But it's a nice way to look at your creativity, how you can incorporate different things in your creative process, and how you can grow and stretch yourself even more. Okay, Creative Awakenings. What did you think of the book? As I said, it's definitely really useful to be able to have books that you can dip into and get additional hints and tips, learn new techniques. So I'll be sharing some of the things that I've done from the book during the week, and you can have a look at that. And again, let me know what you think. I've left the link for the book in the description. So for question for the month, what have you or what will you do to bless you today. So what will you, or what have you done? What have you done to bless yourself today? What have you done to bless yourself this week? You know, sometimes you have to schedule in the time. You know, I'm going to treat myself to this or that, or it doesn't have to be something that you have to pay money for. It could be that I'm going to the beach, or I'm going to sit in the park and read my book. I'm going to have a candlelit shower, a candlelit bath. Think of things that you like doing that you haven't done for the longest. I mean, I haven't been to the beach for the longest, and that's something that I'm going to put right this week. I used to do the artist dates from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I'll leave the link, you can see. And she has a book called Artist Dates, and there was one that I've got which is, I think it's like looking at the things that can get in the way of you creating your artist dates. And then you've got the, you know, your morning pages. So so what is it you're going to do? You know, you've got to do something for yourself. And that is the difference between feeling, oh, you know what, I can't be bothered, or, you know, you're feeling energized. And with this week, this month, being enthusiastic, you know, think about how enthusiastic you are. And I hope that what you're doing is, if you're listening to, you know, the month by month, that you set these words into your day-to-day routine, that you think, yeah, okay, what am I doing for myself? This is something I need to schedule. Okay, how am I spending quiet time with myself? How am I, you know, approaching my work, looking at a different perspective? How am I encouraging myself? But it's something that you have to do to keep yourself going, because in the hardest of times, you can sit back and think, well, I've got these routines that I can get on with. So that's something you need to think about. Anyway, so let's look at the spotlight for the month. Okay, so spotlight is, there are lots of courses that are on at the moment. So if you listen to this, tomorrow is the last day for the giveaway for the art bundles for good. You can enter, and I'll leave the link for you to enter, and good luck. You know, if you want to buy the course, it is $97, but the courses are worth a total of $5,000, and I'll share what I'm teaching, what I'm offering in the art bundles, and I'm also offering an art bundle paperback. There's over 400 elements there, and it's mixed media art papers that I've created, so you can use them in your designs, and it'll be something that you can use in your designs. I love working with background papers. I love creating background papers, but I work with them in my art journals all the time. So that's the art bundles for good. If you're past the 3rd, it's then you have to buy them. But again, 5,000 worth of courses, that kind of works out to just under $1 per course. So, you know, and there's a whole range of things that you can do. The other thing is that I'm teaching on Book of Days, and it's hosted by Effie Wild. And so this is my first time teaching on Book of Days, so I'm quite excited for the project that I've got to share with you. And we are doing a giveaway, so I can give away a seat on the course. So registration opens on the 15th, but what you can do to enter the giveaway is hop over to my Instagram page, and under the post for the Book of Days that I'll leave under there, I want you to make sure that you're subscribed to my Instagram, leave a comment whether you're familiar with Book of Days or why you'd like to win a spot on Book of Days, and share it with 3 people. Yeah? So make sure you're subscribed to my Instagram. Leave a comment under the Book of Days post, and so I can keep it so it's just everybody's all together, and then share it with 3 people. Okay? And so for each thing that you do, so if you're newly subscribed, let me know, and leave a comment. That's 2. Share it with 3 people, so that's 5 chances to win a spot. Yeah? And I will be letting people, letting you know before the registration starts. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So do that, and you have 5 opportunities to win. So that's Book of Days. I'm really excited about that, and I'm doing a lot more teaching next year, so I'm excited to share some of those. I'm enthusiastic, excited to share about those, but I'll tell you more later on. The other course that will be running soon is Lifebook 2022. You can sign up. I'll leave the link below, and you can get a 30% discount using the code that I'll leave as well. So Lifebook, there's like over 25 teachers as well. I was on Lifebook 2021, and it was great fun, and I loved sharing my 2 projects. The other thing is Ivy Newton's creative studio, and she has over 100 lessons, different teachers teaching. She's teaching as well, and you can get a 30-day free access, so I'll leave the link for that as well. I've signed up. It's great. It's great to see so many different teachers and their teaching styles and the lessons that they do. It's just nice to be able to work your way through them. And I like the creative studios as well. You know, she highlights different artists each month. There's a colour palette, and there's a whole range of yummy things that happen. And there's a Facebook group as well that you can join. So I'll leave the link for Ivy Newton's Newport, sorry. I'm sure I said it. So Ivy Newport Creative Studios. Yes. Okay, so there's so that's something that's enough for you to be getting on with this month. And when I'm going to be sharing again some of the posts that I've done. So the Stitch project, I'll be sharing some additional things so you can see that without all of the other bits. You'll have the book review you can take a look at, and I'll be sharing some of the projects that I've done from Creative Awakenings. Remember to encourage other artists. Think about what it is you're doing for yourself each month, each week, each day. Something for yourself, no matter how small it is. You know, you can do something special for yourself, even if it's like, you know, like I'm gonna go and have a cup of tea. I'm gonna go and have a cup of tea and do some editing. That's what I have to do. And we'll probably take a walk around the garden. It's kind of quite hot at the moment, but it's nice and cool in the house, and we've got the breeze blowing. But just to get that kind of, you know, injection of vitamin D coming from the sun, and hoping to encourage and inspire. So I look forward to seeing you in Arts and Wellness Cafe next month, and I hope that by the end of the month you'll have the magazine, if not before. I'll just have to, see how I can get on. But there's lots happening this month that I need to get through and need to sort out. But I'm looking forward to sharing it all with you, and to finishing off my fabric storage, and just set my studio up to be that much bit more No, a bit more organised, really, and just the workflow. Yeah, because you've got to create the space that you want to be in, and create it in a way, work it in a way that works for you. Yeah, so there's lots to do. Anyway, so take care for now, and check back over the channel. I post 3 times a week, so you'll be able to see other wonderful things that's going on. Okay, take care for now. See you soon.